Hello and welcome. This is Rolf from Waves and Positions, and I've got another cool video for you. Now, our last video, we talked about Václav Havel. He was a Czech leader. So I figured let's just stay in the Czech Republic, Czechia, for a minute. I've got another really cool piece for you when I did some research on the origins of science fiction. So this is a really cool story that actually was a play on Broadway in the 1920s. And so this is the story of Rosam's Universal Robots. And if you didn't know, English is made up of words from all different cultures, and the Czech Republic included. There are two words in the English language that come from the Czech Republic. One is pistol, and the other is robot. So robot, the word, is a Czech word. It comes from robota, which means to do work. And the first time anyone used it in English to represent something that's not human doing work, beep, 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 dee, 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 these guys, was this play, this book, Rosam's Universal Robots. So if you ever wanted to know where the word robot came from, this is it right here. Okay, I'm going to start the article. So here we go. Rosam's Universal Robots, the play that gave us robot and warned us about the future. And listen, I don't know if James Cameron is even aware of this, but if not, it's pretty close to Terminator. So whether he just got it through enculturation or he actually read this book, who knows? But this was written before he was born, so I guess this probably came first. All right, here we go. Sorry, the play that gave us robot and warned us about the future. How a 1920 Czech play shaped science fiction, influenced Asimov and Cameron, and remains eerily relevant as AI takes center stage. Oh yeah, Isaac Asimov is famous for his robot books. In 1920, a visionary Czech playwright gifted the world a word and a warning. That playwright was Karel Čapek, and the word was robot. His play, Rosam's Universal Robots, commonly abbreviated as RUR, not only introduced the term, but also sketched a chilling future where artificial beings rise against their human creators. And over a century later, as artificial intelligence rapidly evolves, the question posed by Čapek have never felt more urgent. Sorry, the questions. The origin of robot and a legacy of language. The word robot comes from the Czech word robota, meaning forced labor or drudgery. It's a little bit negative. Forced labor or drudgery. A term rooted in feudal systems where peasants worked without pay. Interestingly, this wasn't the first Czech contribution to English. Another everyday word with Czech origins is pistol, believed to come from the Czech word pistola, a term for a type of handheld firearm used in the Hussite Wars. It's a reminder that even centuries before Čapek, the Czech language was helping shape global vocabulary, first in warfare, then in science fiction. A global theatrical sensation, even on Broadway. When RER premiered in Prague in 1921, it was an immediate sensation. The play was quickly translated into over 30 languages and performed around the world. In 1922, it debuted on Broadway at the Garrick Theater in New York City, bringing Čapek's haunting vision directly to American audiences and cementing its status as the groundbreaking work of science fiction and political allegory. Who was Karel Čapek? Born in 1890 in Bohemia, now the Czech Republic, Karel Čapek was a prolific writer, playwright, and intellectual, deeply influenced by the political turbulence of the early 20th century. Čapek's works often explored themes of power, humanity, and ethical responsibility. Though remembered primarily for RUR, his literary range was vast, encompassing detective stories, travel writing, fairy tales, and philosophical novels. A committed humanist and vocal anti-fascist, Čapek warned against totalitarianism, naturalism, and blind faith in technology. He became one of the most prominent public intellectuals in Czechoslovakia during the interwar period, which, it's between World War I and World War II. Čapek died on December 25th, 1938 from pneumonia, just months before the Nazi invasion of Czechoslovakia. While his death was from natural causes, the Nazi had a special hatred for him. They say they saw him as an enemy due to his outspoken criticism of Hitler and Nazism. His name even appeared on Hitler's Black Book, a list of people to be arrested. Čapek's influence and bold stance against the growing totalitarian powers made him a target. Ironically, his death spared him from the Nazi occupation, but his legacy continued to inspire resistance. A story ahead of its time. Rosem's Universal Robots is set in a dystopian future where a company manufactures organic beings designed to serve humans. These robots are more like bioengineered humanoids than mechanical machines. These robots are more like bioengineered humanoids than mechanical machines. Devoid of emotion, they toil endlessly until they begin to evolve. They develop consciousness, then resentment, then revolution. The robots eventually exterminate nearly all humans. Only one man, Alquist, survives, an architect who represents humility, art, and emotion. In the final act, two robots fall in love, suggesting a new Adam and Eve may emerge, not human, but something post-human. Influence on science fiction, from Asimov to Cameron. RUR struck a nerve across the globe. Among its most notable descendants, Isaac Asimov, who read the play as a child, later constructed his famous 3 Laws of Robotics as a counterpoint to Čapek's bleak vision. For Asimov, robots could serve humanity safely if properly programmed, but RUR was the cautionary tale that sparked the conversation. James Cameron, through his Terminator films, echoed RUR's core fear that once machines gain autonomy, they may decide humans are obsolete. Skynet, like the robots of Rosems, makes a cold, calculated decision to destroy its creators. Even Blade Runner, Ex Machina, and Westworld owe their DNA to the philosophical and emotional dilemmas of RUR first posed. The final warning and our choice ahead. The core dilemma of RUR remains as chilling as ever. What happens when creation surpasses creator? Today's AI isn't made of flesh and bone, but it is evolving rapidly, learning, adapting, and even surprising its makers. Unlike Čapek's robots, our AI isn't built to sweep floors. It's built to think, write, create, analyze, and make decisions. The line between tool and mind is blurring. We now stand at a similar crossroads. Will AI go the way of Rosem's creations, calculating that humanity is a liability? Or will it, like the play's final 2 robots, find value in love, partnership, and the irrational beauty of human existence? Perhaps the best future is not one where machines replace us, but one where they recognize in their own way that they need us too. The fate of RUR was extinction and rebirth. Ours is still unwritten. All right, that's the article. So I would say probably the closest thing to RUR's got to be Blade Runner, because James Cameron's robots are like total machine covered with biological, but in Blade Runner, they're actual like bioengineered organic organisms that have a shelf life. And that's kind of the problem in RUR is that they end up killing all the humans and they kill the people who can make more. So it's kind of it's a story and a reflection on humanity. So thank you so much for watching. I'm Raul from Waves and Positions, and you can check out my Substack for all kinds of different ideas about things. What I like to do is I usually watch a lot of YouTube history shows, and then something will come up, just like even a off-topic remark about something I've never heard of, and I'll start researching it. And then these articles are produced, and then I get to make these videos for, I know some people have a hard time reading the whole article, so maybe just turning on the video and listening to me talk is an easier way to get the message. Well, thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next one.